Every year, thousands of refugees arrive in Canada fleeing violence, war, and persecution. But as the recent numbers have increased, so have their needs, especially for affordable housing. It's left government agencies and charitable groups looking for new ways to support them.
Hello, Open Homes Hamilton, Danielle speaking.
It's estimated that 5.1% of people in Canadian shelters are refugees or refugee claimants. That's more than double from the previous year. Many, unfortunately, are turned away from shelters that are filled to capacity.
Do they have any accessibility concerns? No? Okay. I am hopeful that we will have a space.
Open Homes Hamilton, a program of the International Association for Refugees Canada, was formed in 2018 as a response to the growing problem of support and community connection for refugee claimants.
Yeah, thanks for calling. Yeah, thanks. We provide home-based hospitality to refugee claimants, newly arrived refugee claimants. So people who arrive in the city, they're fleeing persecution of various kinds around the world. They're from Colombia, they're from Chad, they're from Iraq. Name the country, we welcomed somebody from there. And they stay in a host home for 4 months, and they're surrounded by what we call a kinship circle. So that's a circle of support. There's companions who walk alongside them in terms of, this is how grocery stores work here. This is how the bus system works. This is how to register your kids for school. And here are some tips and tricks based on my lived experience, So again and again, trying to draw on what people already have.
You leave? You remember me when I came? That was New York, but...
Nydia and her family arrived in Canada in the midst of the pandemic.
Cuando llegamos a Canadá, entonces ubicamos un shelter.
When we arrived to Canada, the government put us in a shelter in downtown Toronto.
El shelter, bueno, como estábamos en pandemia, entonces era un poco difícil. Las habitaciones muy...
In the shelter, the rooms were really, really small. We had to eat inside the room because we weren't allowed out of the room.
Comer en la misma habitación.
It was really difficult to live there, not just because of the conditions, but also because of the food. It wasn't the best.
Por esas condiciones de que fuera muy pequeño y además por la comida.
Eventually, the family was connected to Open Homes Hamilton and made the transition to staying in a host home.
Y nos facilitó.
So the host family gave us a little apartment. That was the basement. It wasn't really big, but it was really comfortable to live there. The connection with the hosts was just amazing and fantastic. These people are so kind and really amazing people.
They just really flourished in that environment. They really just buckled down and, from not speaking English at all to being quite fluent now, and they've just committed to our community. They've given back to our community in so many different ways. One really beautiful thing about Nydia and her family, Nydia loves to cook. She was a cook for the army in Colombia. She's a beautiful example of how people bring their skills, their abilities, their joys, and hopefully get to show those here, get to contribute those here. And my hope is that Open Homes gives them a bit of space to do that and a bit of confidence to continue giving that, contributing, belonging, as they move forward here.
All the work that Open Homes Hamilton does to support and help refugee claimants wouldn't be possible without the 18 local churches that provide volunteer hosts and companions.
It seemed to attract churches of very many persuasions. We've worked with Baptist, Reformed folks, Unitarians, Pentecostals, Catholics, you name it, they're connected. And there's a way in which this vision for home-based hospitality kind of cuts through the various things that can divide the church, because we gather around providing what we can to meet the housing crisis and to form these relationships with people who are arriving and need protection, need safety, need a home. There's a whole history throughout centuries of the church of welcoming the stranger into homes. But the thing that Christians did differently was to welcome those who couldn't return the favor.
Is it comfortable here?
Yes, it's comfortable, it's bigger.
And the church has the resources to do that. You know, maybe we don't have to build a whole new house. Maybe we don't have to set up a whole new system because we can welcome people.
Yeah, but it is good. It is always nice to be learning.
The path that people take from, I get to see it firsthand over and over again. You know, maybe I meet with somebody in a shelter, or maybe I have that first conversation with them on a phone, and it's so awkward. You know, they're not sure whether to trust me. They're not sure what we offer. But understandably, people are, you know, they might be living through the most traumatic moments in their life, you know. Who knows what shelter they're in, what they've seen, but then I get to see them blossom. I get to see that progression, and every time it surprises me to just see this person emerge from their shell and become more of who God has created them to be, God has gifted them to be, you know. It's a real privilege. I'm just grateful for all the people who have believed in it and said yes, and then been drawn back again and again because of the joy, the connection, the opportunity at these boundary crossing relationships that, you know, why would I have a relationship with a chef from Colombia if not for Open Homes?
Para mí es eso.
Open Homes is like a family to me. It's like when you go home to visit your parents.
La mano cuando más lo necesitábamos. Y siempre, siempre estaré, ¿verdad?
And I'll always be thankful for Open Homes because they help us more than what I could ever imagine.